here, and I wanted to do a video and kind of recap 2013 and just talk about some of my competition stuff and overall how the year went for me. First of all, I did want to say it was an awesome year. I'm in terms of my YouTube account getting bigger, thanks to all of you guys, and I'm at like almost 15,000 subscribers, which is just ridiculous and amazing. So very excited about that. 2013, I've done I did three competitions this year, 2 local, 1 national show. For me, it was a big year. Like, I felt like I was training and focusing on competitions for the majority of this past year. One of the things I'll say this past year, I was still in a fairly new position. I'm a little bit over a year into my position in terms of my career, my full-time job. For those of you that don't realize, I do have a full-time job outside of YouTube and fitness and all that good stuff. So still fairly new into my career. I started training and I hired a coach. I hired Chris Villa as my coach and started working with him in November of 2012, but really started training once January 2013 hit. I was really focused on doing Buffalo, New York. That was my first competition, which was in April, I believe. So, you know, I had a few months to train, and I worked with Chris. He did my diet. He gave me, you know, my workouts and did all my check-ins, and I worked with him throughout all of 2013 for my competition. So for Buffalo, I was so excited to do that competition. It was such a great competition. I'd love to do that one again, although I don't plan on doing any local competitions this year, but it was an amazing competition. I was so excited to be there after my last competition not going so well, so now I'm going back to 2012. I was so excited to get out on stage again for the first time of the year, and I was just so excited. And you know, it was great. I got out on stage and I was out there for a long ass time. That was probably the longest I've been on stage. I just got to stand out there. They kept me in the center. They didn't know really what the hell they were doing because there were so many bikini competitors that I just got to stand out there in the middle the whole time. I loved it. I had hired someone to help me with my posing for the first time going into this competition. So I really felt like I had all my bases covered in 2013. I really just wanted to feel prepared and feel good about myself. So it was awesome. Buffalo was such a great time. You know, I thought I looked great out there. I had fun. There was like 18 girls in my class, and I didn't even know if I'd place because seriously, every girl looked amazing. But I liked that show a lot because I felt super confident on stage and it showed. And I like looking at the footage and the pictures of me from that competition because I really just, like, that was me out there. I looked really happy. I was myself. I felt like I showed my personality on stage. And I really do think that that's what helped me stand out at a local show with so many amazingly beautiful girls. I placed 3rd at that show, and that was just awesome. I was so excited that I placed. So excited. So many of the girls looked great that didn't even place, so I was thrilled. I was on cloud 9. So I got 3rd, so there you go. I was nationally qualified again, but I really I felt like I was so close to getting that 1st place. I really just wanted to, you know, I knew I could go to a national show, but I really wanted that 1st place at a local show. You know, I've heard people say, previous coaches and trainers of mine, you got to earn that 1st place locally before you go to a national competition. Whether or not I agree with that is debatable. You know, I have mixed feelings about that. But I did. I had that itch, and I really just wanted 1st place. So I decided to do the Rochester competition, which was the end of June, I believe. So I had a little time to kind of come off of Buffalo, relax a little bit, but still stayed training. I was able to ease up on my diet a little bit. But then went into Rochester full force. And that was probably the hungriest I've ever been for a competition, was Rochester. Because I knew what I had worked so hard for at Buffalo paid off. And I was like this close to getting that 1st place. So that was it for me. I was focused. I mean, you know, unfortunately at work, I was not as focused at work. I really wasn't focused on much of anything but, you know, doing everything I needed to do for this competition. I just like lived and breathed it. I was so ready for it. I did everything like 100%, which, you know, I've told you guys before, the diet for me is the hardest part. I'm an eater. You know, this girl likes to eat, and I like a lot of different foods, so it's hard for me to be so strict and not having as much variety in my diet, but I did it, and I saw it every day, the changes I was going through, and that was the leanest, I don't know what my body fat was, I don't really check it that much, but that was probably the leanest I was ever going into a competition. And I was ready. I felt so good for Rochester. That was the show that I got to meet one of my followers backstage like 2 minutes before I went on stage. She told me I was the reason she was there. Seriously, almost started crying. At that point, I didn't even like care how I did. I was just so touched that I actually help you guys. Like, I help people, and she was there because of me. It was so cool. So I went on stage, and I just, you know, I had a blast. I don't even really remember being on stage at Rochester that much because it was a little bit of a smaller show. They divided up the height classes a little bit smaller, so there wasn't as many girls in my height class, so that definitely was an advantage for me. But yeah, I wasn't out on stage that long, but I remember, you know, they moved me to the middle and it was done and I walked off. So I was really excited. I didn't, you know, everyone backstage was like, you got this, you did it. But I try not to let that get to me at a competition because I've been there before and it didn't work out so well. I ended up getting third before. So I try not to listen to the stuff backstage or what people are telling me, but I did. I felt really good about it. I was super, super, super dehydrated for that show, which is probably why I looked my leanest, looked my tightest. And yeah, I ended up getting first place for my height class. I didn't get the first place overall, but it was really cool just being able to go out there against the other two girls and like be in that position to have a chance for overall. I felt like I looked completely different than the other two girls up there, and I really thought I had a shot at getting overall. I didn't, but that's okay, and I was totally okay with it because I was so happy with how I looked and what I brought to the stage. I was like, fine, this is cool. I'm not the look they're going for. Every judge is different. Every show is different, and I just wasn't the overall look they were looking for. It's okay. So I was totally fine with it. I was absolutely thrilled. I finally got first at a local competition, and you know what? I've been doing competitions now for 2 years. I think it's 2 years. So for me to even get that first, which I know some people don't get, it's tough. There's so much competition. It's so, so popular to compete, especially in bikini. So for me to have that, no one can ever take that away from me. I'm thrilled. My first place trophy sat right out here on the counter. You guys maybe saw it in some of my videos for like 6 months. So that was just an awesome, awesome, awesome opportunity. I did a different suit color for Rochester. That's when I went with red, felt a little sassier on stage, and it was great. So I was super thrilled. And then from Rochester, I decided I wanted to do North Americans again, compete nationally, and hopefully redeem myself and do better than I did the previous year. I didn't have a lot of time. Between Rochester and North Americans, I think I had truly 9 weeks. Really, I didn't have a second to waste. But in little Kara's head, I needed a little mini mental break, you know? And I did take a diuretic for Rochester. Coming off of Rochester, I turned into a water buffalo. I mean, I just my skin hurt. I ate salty foods, and yeah, I blew up a little bit, and it was water retention. It wasn't like all of a sudden I gained 10 pounds of fat, but I struggled with water retention really bad after Rochester. That set me back a couple weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, in my weight. No matter how much I was exercising or doing my diet according to my coach, my weight just wasn't coming down like it had for my past 2 competitions. So I started getting really stressed out. You know, unfortunately focusing too much on why isn't the number on the scale changing, getting really nervous, not liking the way I looked in my photos, my progress photos, and I had a lot of stressful stuff going on at work. One of the stressfulest times I've ever had to deal with at work. So there was a lot going on. I wasn't sleeping well because of my stress. I mean, it was just, I can only imagine what my hormones were doing at this time of my life. Just very stressed out, not ideal to compete. And you know, even a couple weeks before the competition, my husband was like, why don't you just don't do it? You don't have to do it. No one's making you do it. And, you know, I had thought about it and I decided, no, I worked hard. I'm going to do it regardless. I'm not a quitter and I wanted to go do it. But for that competition, I definitely, you know, I didn't feel like my heart was 110% into it. Like I really feel like it has to be, especially at a national competition. Those girls are out there for blood. Like they are ready for first place. They will cut you. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't care. And I was just like, you know, not feeling great about how I looked and what I was bringing. It just doesn't go over well on stage when you're not there. But I don't have regrets that I did it. You know, I felt like I did build some muscle over the summertime, but you know, I didn't lean out the way I needed to, and I didn't feel great about myself going on stage for North Americans. And it showed. It showed on stage that I didn't, you know, I knew I wasn't getting first place. I knew I wasn't going to place high. I wish I could have at least gone out there though and said fuck it and just worked my thing on stage anyways. Did I look bad? Hell no. I still looked great. My booty looked good. Things look good up there, you know what I mean? But unfortunately, when it comes to being cocky and just going up there and doing that, that's still where I struggle a little bit. So unfortunately, I went up there. My nerves showed. You know, you guys have seen my North Americans video, so you can get more details there. I won't rehash the whole thing, but all in all, I was still glad I did it, but I still ended up placing, you know, I didn't place ultimately, so it still sucks. So that was kind of how I ended things. There was other national shows after that. I needed a break though, you guys. So as I've told you before, that was the last competition I did in 2013. I really just felt like my body, my mind, I mentally needed a break to kind of just get back to me, not competitor Kara. I needed to find my balance. Because there's always going to be stress in life. I'm always going to be thrown challenges in other areas of my life. And I just feel like I need to be able to balance it all. So I've been taking kind of a break from competing, an effort to do so. So 2013, it's crazy to compare 2012 to 2013. I've come so far with fitness in 2013. I feel like my body's made a lot of changes. I feel like I'm now 30 years old, and I feel like I'm starting to finally be okay with who I am and kind of I know myself a little bit better. So it's been a really good year. I was blessed with finally I'm a sponsored athlete for P28, which again, that's like one of my biggest highlights from this year. You know, one of the things getting me into the fitness world is I wanted to get sponsored and I want to represent companies that I believe in. So huge thanks to P28, and I'm so happy to represent them. So yeah, rest of 2013, I've just been like training and having fun and enjoying my life and kind of getting that, you know, desire back in me to compete, because I don't want to compete again until I am like 100% ready to go out there and, you know, do what I need to do on that stage and feel good about everything I brought, which was not the case at North American. So for right now, going into 2014, I don't have any current shows planned just yet. Like I said, I don't really think I'm going to do any local shows because I'm nationally qualified. So I think what I want to do is just kind of take a long time to kind of start slowly trying to lean out and just see what my body's looking like. I just don't want to rush into anything. It didn't benefit me. I felt like I rushed into North Americans, and you know, this stuff costs a lot of money, you guys. It's not cheap, it's expensive. You know, you make compromises in your life and financially to do these competitions, and you know, I'm just at a point where I want to be ready 100%, make sure I'm giving it my all, because there's a lot of sacrifices made. So I hope to say that I'm going to do some national competitions in 2014. That is my plan. Which ones I'm going to do yet, I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. So there's some things I got to work on still, and we'll see where my body's at. I'm not rushing into anything, but I think 2014 it will be a good year. So to finish things off, I'm going into the new year with a new do. I got my bangs, so let me know if you guys like these or not. I've heard feedback to keep them, that the judges would like them on stage. So let me know what you think of my new do. And that's about it for 2013. Damn, it was a good year. More good stuff to come. Hope the followers keep racking on up and you guys keep enjoying my videos. Let me know what kind of stuff you guys want to see from me going into 2014. And thank you again for all your support. Happy New Year to everyone.